Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, I'm excited about this episode. Another episode of Teezy for the people. We have a staple in our community, very important to our community. We might even say that this is the modern day Miss Frizzle. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Enjoying science and teaching kids all around for a very long time. We have the one, the only Dr. Sunflower of Science Creations. Ladies and gentlemen, how you doing?
I'm doing great.
All right. I'm so glad first of all, I'm so glad we got this interview together.
Yes.
You know, because earlier, we thought it was going to rain down on us, but, we got nothing but sunshine.
Exactly.
All right, so let's first start off with the origin story of, why you wanted to first start teaching children or, just get into the science field and, what inspired you.
Right. Okay, so first I did work for a company when I was in college, Science of Atlanta, and they did something that's kind of similar to me, but it's more packaged and more commercial.
Okay.
And basically what I noticed was we weren't going into our schools, meaning inner city schools, meaning low income schools, meaning African American schools.
Right.
So the people that could afford them or bring them in was maybe more up north, or more well off, really the people that didn't even need it as much.
Right.
So honestly, I started the company because of that reason.
Okay.
But science, I always loved science since I was a little girl. My mother allowed me to explore nature and kind of just go out there in Alabama. And it was my calling. Like, I just love being in nature, always outside, always.
And you're a graduate from Georgia State University, am I correct?
Graduate. Yep. And my background is in education, actually.
Right.
Yep. So I was at Georgia State. I actually you only need 100 credit hours to graduate. I have 200 credit hours. In education.
You got to go above and beyond, though.
So my background is in education and sociology as well.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah.
That's really nice. So we had met up at the school, the elementary school, and you was teaching the kids, and you was showing the kids like different science, like cool ways of enjoying science.
Right.
And I really was intrigued by that because usually in school you got a big book, and everybody's just page 7,
Exactly.
page 8,
Right.
page 9, and you're so focused on just trying to pass the class, like you really don't have fun or enjoy things.
Exactly.
I want to talk about how you implicated this type of science to make it fun for children and really a connection method.
Okay, so when I was in school, in elementary school, I did not like school.
Right.
And I didn't like it because of the way they taught it, just memorization, lectures. So
Right.
I know I was not unintelligent. I thought I was intelligent, but I did not like school. I didn't know why I didn't like it. But I realized the reason I didn't like it because I wasn't hands-on. I like being interactive, hands-on, having fun in learning. And so actually I do a method that I wish was created when I was young.
Correct.
And I created different classes that is all hands-on, all fun, all interactive, and all real life. It makes sense. You know why you're studying. You're not just studying to pass a test.
Right.
There's a reason why you're studying this.
Right.
So yeah, maybe because you can learn how to fix your car.
Right.
Electricity, circuits. Yeah.
I most definitely just like how it just connects with the children. And you was knocking those science projects out.
Yeah.
I'm talking about we started off in the room and all you seen was smoke coming out of a pot, and then we ended up outside and you seen a whole rocket going to the moon.
Right.
And we did that all in an hour time frame, and that was like really dope. So let's switch it over a little bit and let's talk about you being an author. Right, so you're an author of 3 books, am I correct? Your first book was in 2021?
Right, yes.
Okay, so let's talk about it.
Okay, so I have 3 books. I'm going to get one of them.
All right.
The one I'm most proud of is Fun and Easy Lesson Plan. And what this is the first one was herb. We're in a garden.
Right.
So it's actually my mother who passed away. She's passed away now, but she was into natural healing, herbs, and we actually never took medicine, like ever. Garlic and honey. You get sick, you take garlic and honey. And so she inspired the first book. She actually told me to do the first book. So it's herb and spices. And it's A to Z, aloe vera, bee basil, sea chamomile, things like that.
Wow.
Basic things in the garden that you can learn from in the healing property. One sentence, healing property in color, in a coloring book. So my sister, she's in South Africa, graduate of Spelman. She has a small publishing company, Deep Roots Books, and she published it. She published all my books, actually.
Okay.
And basically, after my mother passed away, we said we have to finish this book.
Right.
We have to. My mommy said, do this book, so let's finish the A to Z coloring book for children. So that was the first one. And then the second one is the lesson plan book during COVID. I say it's my COVID baby.
Right,
You have anything
okay.
to do? Actually went through depression because I wasn't working with the kids. This garden actually pulled me out of depression even.
Wow.
So I went through depression during COVID because actually I didn't know how much energy I was getting from the kids actually, and they give me energy, I give them energy. I didn't realize that until COVID.
Right.
Being in that environment. So this garden actually pulled me out of it by working in the garden.
Can we say that, just a side note, can
Yes.
we say that like plants are like living organisms?
Definitely.
Like, you know, because
Oh,
it's only
100%.
proper that I ask, you know, a doctor, you know, you know.
100%. No, and Stevie Wonder has a whole album, most people don't know, dedicated to plants called,
Wow.
The Secret Life of Plants. But scientists have also done study on plants. Plants that talk to and giving good energy grow well. Those who negative energy and, you know, treat it wrong actually don't grow as well.
Wow.
Music played around plants. They have a scientific study where they grow better when music is playing. So they're living organisms that we interact with, and they give us oxygen, so we live because we're alive because of plants, and
Right.
we give them carbon dioxide. So I always say they're like our sisters and brothers, but it's a symbiotic relationship. They depend on us, and we depend on them completely for survival.
Wow.
So yes, a real deep, I think, message, and plants are everywhere.
Yeah, that is deep because you
Yeah.
know it's very, you know, it's very intriguing to hear that, you know, the plants got you out of depression.
Oh yeah, and
You
that's
know?
a common thing for a lot of people. Actually,
Yeah,
working
yeah.
in the garden, being out in the sunlight, you
Getting
know,
out in nature,
touching the soil.
yeah, touching the soil.
Oh,
What are before, just a side note? What are some of your hobbies before we get back
Oh,
into
yeah.
the books?
Oh, yeah.
Like, cause
Okay,
I know,
so-
cause you said touching the soil.
Right.
So you hike, you bike.
I do. I hike, I bike, I kayak, I swim. I'm on a professional swim team.
Oh, wow.
With the YMCA, it's adult swim team, actually all African American, and it's top in the country. Actually, I mean in a state in the state of Georgia. One of the
Okay.
top swim teams in the state of Georgia.
Okay.
With Andrew Young, YMCA, and I travel. I've traveled to 19 countries.
Oh
So I
wow, you
love
traveled to
traveling.
19 countries.
19 countries.
What was your favorite country out of 19?
The one I most recently went to is Thailand.
Thailand.
So Thailand is actually my favorite country out of the 19 because of the energy.
Right.
Positive, all positive. It's called
And I heard, you know, even though it might not matter too much, but it does in this today's economy. I heard it's a little cheaper to like move around than, you know, being in the United States.
Yes, breakfast was $1.50 and a great
Oh,
dinner was
yeah.
$3.
Oh,
American
wow.
dollars. Awesome. I
Oh,
loved it.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's great so far as price is concerned.
Okay,
Yes, and a
yeah.
lot of people are moving over there to Thailand.
That's nice. That's nice.
Yes.
So one of your books was dedicated to your grandson.
I do. I have a grandson who's 3 years old. Nassim means fresh air.
Okay.
And yeah, it was about lessons from the heart. It's based off 5 pillars on what I grew up on, but it's about five things you can live by,
Okay.
basically. So it's called 5 Lessons from the Heart. And I actually want him to have it after I pass on. I want him to be able to read it and for it to be able to guide him through his life or any child through their life.
Right.
So far as, you know, meditation or some people pray, whatever you choose, spending time in nature, traveling, you know, having a connection with the creator. So it's 5 pillars.
Is that where you say that your inspiration like probably comes from, just like, you know, life in general and you know, just being out in nature, and that makes you want to, like, you know, form a piece of your formula to write these books?
Yes, I would say 100%. My complete inspiration comes from nature and really just spending time, you could say meditating, thinking, contemplating, just playing, whatever you do in nature,
Right.
and communing with nature 100%.
All right.
Science creation. So we learn science from the creation.
So let's talk about science creations.
Right.
Let's get into it. So of course, you wanted to basically, from outside looking in, you really wanted to just like give back to the community of what you didn't see, you know, too much of growing up, and you felt like you could provide an opportunity for these children
Right.
to learn, grow, and even one day maybe be something great, you know, in the science field, or, you know, working for NASA, or it's so many different things that you can explore science in.
Yeah.
A planetarian, just a
And
lot.
I think there's a science in everything.
It is- I feel like it
Everything.
is. I
Science
feel
in
like it
clothes,
is.
Science in art, science in music.
I feel like it
science
is.
Of everything. Everything.
feel like-
Building.
Right, right.
constructing, you learn from insects, from, you know, so far.
So you said you ran into a few students that that
Yeah.
basically was inspired by
Yes.
your teachings?
Yeah, so I often have children come up to me. I've been doing it for 16 years now, and so they often come up and say, I got into the science field because of your classes. They made me excited about science, and I saw that science could be fun and enjoyable. And the story I was telling you is a young lady is studying in Europe, Cambridge actually,
Okay.
and she saw me in Walmart during the holiday season, and she came up to me and said, I wanted to tell you I'm studying how the brain works and the psychology of the brain, how trauma maybe affects the brain.
Right.
And the reason I went into science is because your classes inspired me to really love science. And I get that a lot throughout the city. They're older now. It's
Right,
kind of funny.
right.
I've been doing it for so long. And that really, really touches my heart and make me feel like I'm really doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
How long have you been doing this?
Yeah, so 16 years, but actually I started volunteering in a classroom since 6th grade. I knew I wanted to be a teacher since 6th grade. Teacher, astronaut, and Olympic swimmer. That was my goal.
You know what's so crazy? I was like, last year I told myself I was gonna join a triathlon. Just do it. Cause I already bike. I love biking.
A lot of the people I swim with, they are triathletes, and
Yeah,
I plan to do it too. I'm not much of a runner. I'm more of a biker.
Oh, see, I'm not a swimmer.
biking.
I'm a biker
Yeah.
and a runner, but I'm not a swimmer.
biking,
When they
right.
said, you got to be on the water for like 6 miles, I was like, well, hold up.
Or you can have a team. They just had a meet. You can have a team, and another person on your team could do that part. And you could do the other parts.
Okay. So you know what? I might need to join the team first and then to go back.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your usher experience.
Okay. Yeah. So.
All right.
What do you want to know about it?
So how did being in the same room at the same time,
Yes.
you and Usher?
Yeah. So first they found me on Instagram. So Instagram does work.
Okay.
Yeah,
Shout out
so I was
to IG
invited-
because
yeah,
that's
no, for
where I
real.
looked you up at.
No,
you know?
yeah, so yeah, and my girls are the ones who you need to be on IG, mommy. So
Right.
they put me on to that. And so basically, they hired me to come to the Christmas party for the kids. It's a small group,
Okay.
maybe four close friends.
Okay.
And so I was at one of his close friends' house, and he came in, and I was doing the show, and I was like, I think that's Usher. In my head, but I can play it off.
Right.
I've done a little baby, so I have a little experience.
Okay.
So I did a little bit. I just kept going with the show, and at the end, he came and said, "You know who I am?" I said, "You're Usher."
Right, of course.
And I think I'm pretty good at keeping calm and playing cool. And actually, no. During the show, he was really excited. During the show is what happened. He was really into the experiments that I was doing.
As we all was.
He was really into it, and I was like, he said, "Man, this is great. Well, this is great what you're doing." I said, "Hey, you mind saying that on camera afterwards?" So,
Right.
And so after the show, afterwards, I said, "Hey, do you really mind? Do you mind if saying that on camera?"
Right.
And he said, "No, not at all. Let's go."
That's
and
good.
so we did it. He was so down to earth. Everybody actually there at that party was so down to earth and so
And I know
cool.
motivation and inspiration was probably on 1,000 then at that moment.
Yeah,
because just like being in the same room as Usher and just working so hard, you making it up to this point. So and then I guess like as a creator
Right.
and as a just a person with artistic abilities,
Right.
it's like you always get excited when people react positively towards the things that you do.
Oh, definitely. Right.
Even when the kid, it's as simple the kids being like, wow.
Yeah. Or after the party, the kids come up to you and say, "I really appreciate you doing my party for me."
Right, because those kids,
matters.
everything that you were saying, them kids had it on point.
They were.
I'm like, man, I was like, you know what, as an adult, I forgot about all this stuff. Like, you know what, it's good to refresh my memory and things like that.
Exactly. Yeah,
So-
that means a lot. No, and him saying, I was saying this is my passion, and he definitely said, this is definitely your calling. I think
Right.
it's my calling is to teach like this.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, definitely.
It most definitely is your calling. Like the kids, they interact with you naturally, and just your excitement of just the things. I always know that's people are they're good at what they do.
Yeah.
Determining by the how they act and as a person and how they feel and what I'm saying. Are they enthused?
Right.
Are they in it? Or are they just
Exactly.
being like, you know what, I'm just here to clock in and clock
Exactly.
out.
You're gonna be like,
Yeah. So I'm
yeah.
glad. It's good to see all those things in you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. All right, so let's switch it up a little
Okay.
bit. Science creations.
Yes.
So other than just being at the schools, right? You have to come up with like the actual plan.
Definitely.
Right?
Yeah, lessons
So-
and the plans, how the hands-on experience.
The hands-on experiments. I'm
Definitely.
talking strictly about the hands-on experiments because
Oh, yeah.
it's like, all right, well, how am I gonna know that this mechanism is not gonna shoot up to the roof and cause a fire in the school?
Exactly. No, it's for real.
Because I I may do some, tryouts at the house. I got some homeowners insurance. But when we come to the school,
school
it's like
insurance.
a little different. So
like policy I never had to use.
Right, exactly. So it's like, being, how do you choose these experiments in what you do?
Honestly, I think if I was a kid, what would I want to do? I think back to when I was a kid,
right.
and then I start researching, and then online, everything's online. And I always say, nothing you invent really yourself. Really, somebody else, plant the idea, or you get the idea, a little bit of the idea from somewhere else. So I actually just put myself as if I was a child. Watching Miss Frizzle.
Do you right?
What would I love to do?
Watch Miss Frizzle.
What would be fun?
From the Magic School Bus.
That's right. That's right. Who I love.
Would it be safe? Do you use ChatGPT?
A little bit.
A little bit?
Yeah, and people who work with me, they use it though. Definitely to help my business. Yes, I would say yes.
Right.
Definitely. Like
what about to help your experiments? Like asking ChatGPT, like, hey, listen, if I take carbon monoxide and a couple flames,
what will happen?
Yeah, what will happen?
Honestly, I don't. We use it more for professional reasons.
Okay,
but I could. But I'm glad you're saying that.
Right.
I could, or I want to do, because I sometimes make up a lot of new classes. Somebody wants a class on water. What's some cool experiments I could do on water? So I could. So that's a really good point that you're making. I probably will now that you mention it.
Yeah, because I mean,
use it more for proposals.
Yeah. Well, we're a long way from just like writing things on paper or going to the library to like really do
true.
research.
No, that's definitely true.
I was listening to a podcast not too long ago, and they were saying like it's many forms of like people just trying to like how you said like just control things. You know what I'm saying? Like through the internet, through social media, and it can really just be off of influence.
Right.
So it's like these tools that they're coming up with, it can be dangerous. But you can also use it to your advantage.
Right.
Because
talk about how much water it's using too, though. ChatGPT.
Right. Oh, wow.
A lot of water.
See, so you wouldn't even think about that. So from an environmental standpoint, we're using a lot of water.
Right.
So it's like
cities sometimes.
Right. So it's like you got your pros and your cons. So you know what I'm saying. Within your professionalism, you know what I'm saying, where does your morality come in? Yeah, like, all right, hey, am I going to keep using ChatGPT, or am I going to have like the sharpest brain ever just by, hey, let me put some peanut butter with some jelly and see if it tastes good.
You have to come up with a balance.
Right.
You're not going to stop using it.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. Like you can use it as a tool. So it's just,
and we do. We definitely do professionally.
That's good.
Yeah.
So current events. Let's talk current events. Just a little off topic a little bit.
Okay.
Current events. Have you are you into any like UAPs or anything like that, or like aliens and stuff like that?
Nah. I mean, I don't. But I thought you might ask something like that. I don't know why.
Okay.
I really don't know why. Let me tell you why.
Okay.
But I'm not into it.
Right.
But if you understand science, and we're in one universe, right? I mean, one the Milky Way, right? Galaxy, one galaxy. And there's infinite, according to science, amount of galaxies, okay?
Right.
And so they say, and it's ever expanding. So I think we would be very small-minded to think we're the only ones here, honestly, and to not think there's other planets somewhere out there in the universe, right, that have life forms. So I am not.
And a whole nother light year, basically.
Exactly. I mean, I think we'll be why would we think it wouldn't exist, honestly?
Right.
So I'm not into it. I don't get into it, but I don't condemn it or belittle it in any way.
Right, because it's like, they're finding new planets, new stars.
Yeah.
I
mean, it's infinite. It never ends.
It never ends.
And our galaxy is huge, Milky Way. So.
And for millions of years.
Exactly. And it's still expanding.
Elon Musk talks about having life on Mars. What do you think about that?
Maybe life was on Mars. I think there's traces of that life could have been on Mars. And again, why would we think that it wouldn't? And Earth will not be here forever either. Eventually, the sun will dim out, and Earth won't.
They said they did some They actually, I seen something on one of these sites that they calculated to like 1,666,000.
Right, we won't be here.
Years. We won't be here.
We won't be here, but it will happen.
Yeah, but they said like that was like the last potential sign of just having, being on Earth.
Exactly.
It's
So it definitely could have happened. I mean, it's definitely they say it looked like it once was water on Mars. They sent the rover there.
Right.
So so I think it could have definitely had life.
They're sending right.
I don't know about right now. Right.
They're doing like I guess what you would call it like voyages to space. I know. 5 ladies, they went to space. They got sent up for a total of like 8 minutes.
Yeah, for how much?
Right.
What could you do with that money? On Earth, no.
Right, exactly. What do you,
Right.
yeah, like, it's just so much that's happening.
It's so much.
Like, and it's so much in science that's just happening, like the
Yeah.
evolution. What do you think is one of the most leading, like, evolutional things that's happening current in science?
Right. Well, honestly, what I would say, instead of what's the most current evolution, I think what is happening is we're getting away from the basics.
Okay.
So I think we are going out in space, and you can pay a certain amount of money to go out in space for, what'd you say, 8 minutes?
Right. Right, exactly.
Yeah, but we're not eating food that's good for our bodies still, and we have these chemical foods.
Correct.
And we have
Because there's a lot of mercury in fish.
yeah, I mean, mercury in the fish. Okay, what about the water? What about the air? What about the
Right.
seedless plants? What about GMO?
Right.
So honestly, my company,
They was
more
about
so-
to take fluoride out of water.
Yeah. So, which I have different views on different things with this EPA.
Yeah, right.
But the way things have been done and why they were done. But I think what my company is about is getting us back grounded.
Right.
So even though I'm not tech, I'm not like extreme tech. I know it's important. I know it's the cutting edge. I know that's what everybody's talking about. But we don't even know where our food comes from.
Right.
But kids, if they have seedless fruit, their kids won't even know what a seed is,
Right.
or let alone how to grow a seed.
Like
As a matter of fact, a company will own that.
Like my grandma say stay
They
away
will
from
own it.
my grandma say stay away from seedless watermelon.
Yeah, really seedless anything.
Seedless anything.
Honestly, yeah. So what my company, how it's different from what's cutting edge, what everybody's talking about with tech is, I get them back grounded. We're talking about basic because we're getting so far away from the basics, like putting your hands in the dirt and growing food, or
Right.
learning what you do with a seed. Some kids don't know how to grow a seed. That I focus on the basic, or this company focuses on the basic, and bringing them back down from space and back on Earth. Because if we don't, we're not going to have here, and we're going to have to go find, somewhere to live. And because we don't talk about the ozone layer, what's really happening, how much is heating up, how that's increasing the water level, how cities are, being flooded. Like, that's
Right.
real talk.
Well, yeah.
And we're not in war. Don't get started with wars on Earth.
Correct.
So all the stuff happening on Earth, and we're busy going out in space, and we're not dealing with anything even on Earth or teaching the kids about the Earth.
Right, because I would
Yeah.
think like, hey, let's all put our chips together to see, like exploring the whole rainforest. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's only a small percentage of the rainforest that's been explored.
Yeah.
Or like the ocean. Let's really see what's going on in our oceans rather than just like a certain percentage of what's going on in our oceans. But we can try to figure out what's between here and a few light years.
Right.
You know?
I know, right?
You know.
That's like, whoa.
Right. So
Yeah.
it's like, most definitely I think we should pay attention to, just like even like the recall on so many food.
Yeah.
It's like all our favorite foods back in the day, it's like you always see a clip, like every other day about somebody just saying recall on this, recall on that.
Right.
Don't eat this list of foods. Like I just seen, and you could tell me if I'm right or wrong, but I just seen like another clip where a lady, she said like the 5 worst fruits that you can eat, for your blood sugar wise, to like spike your blood sugar, because there's sugars in fruits. And like one of them was like pineapple and watermelon.
Right.
And I was like, oh.
Right, but no, moderation. Everything in moderation.
Everything in moderation.
Yeah.
So it's really something that's like not so good for you. Because I always thought, I was like, hey, listen, if I ever get super sick and I want to go like the holistic version way,
Right.
I'm just going to eat like a certain type of fruit, a certain type of food,
Right.
and I'm going to have like a certain type of diet and
And
things
I
like
think we
that.
should be doing that anyway, though, right? Just a balanced diet, eating holistic food, so that we be healthy, right? Instead
Right.
of processed food. One thing you said about cutting edge, I do think with cutting edge is medicine, okay?
Right.
A lot of, and I am bringing in like 3 to 4 doctors to my camp. They're volunteering, coming in, talking to the kids. Holistic, like you said, holistic doctor, chiropractor, ER doctor that graduated from the school,
Great.
and talking about really natural healing.
Right.
Healing through energy,
Right.
sound energy, iridology.
Right.
It's a lot of cutting edge stuff talking about healing, or your body healing itself.
Right.
Through meditation, cell rejuvenation, there's all kind of things going on. No, with healing, your body healing
Right.
yourself, and I think big that we don't talk about it, as simple as it is food. Food heals you. If you
Right.
eat the right foods,
Hey, man,
or the right herbs.
it's like food can either like hurt you or heal you.
Exactly.
No, like
100%.
Like they were
Definitely.
saying it's like some type of micro waste in McDonald's chicken McNuggets, and it's like, yo, why would you do that to these kids?
Money.
You know?
Yep, you're
And
right.
it's like,
right.
and then like
It's
Tyson,
everywhere.
like if you look at, you know, how many brands that Tyson Foods actually own,
Yeah.
and then basically how they like, you know, make their food and things like that,
Exactly.
how they're
It's
feeling
serious.
like these animals with, you know,
It's serious.
certain type of
Yeah.
whatever, I don't
No,
know what
right,
it is,
right.
but they're, right, you know,
Right.
but they're, you know, they're basically like just doing a lot.
Poisoning them.
Yeah, they're
poisoning
poisoning
them, and when we eat it, it poisons us. And that's
Exactly.
why I think with the camp that we're doing,
Right.
the health wellness camp, is educating kids so they can make informed decisions as they grow older. They can understand not only healing wise, but eating the right food so they don't get sick, so they don't have to go through all this. And we have natural healing doctors coming in too, sound healers.
Do you
yoga,
have
meditation.
like a certain type of, you know, some people have like keto diets and something like that. Do you recommend something for people to like, you know, like gravitate towards? Like I was going to start juicing. Is that good?
I know juicing is excellent, and I say again, cut out processed food. I give you a testimony about this.
Okay.
So I went to Thailand, right?
Right.
2 weeks, and I went to West Africa, by the way, too. It happened there too. 2 weeks I went to Thailand, and how did I lose 7 pounds? And I ate whatever I wanted to eat. I had no exercise,
Wow.
no diet. No, I was strictly doing whatever I wanted to do. I came back and said, I know I'm gonna gain weight because I ate whatever I wanted to eat. I went to a nutritionist. He said, you lost 7 pounds.
Wow.
How is that possible? You know why?
The food.
It's the food. And I came back, I haven't eaten processed food since, I think I ate some pretzels.
Right.
Processed food since I came back. Because I was like, I'm trying to stay on that path. And the food, it's real, I mean, it's good food. It wasn't like I was like portioning some,
Right.
you know, they don't eat as big portion as we do. But it was good. 3 meals a day, more if I wanted it.
Right.
And nothing special, except the food was different. And I'm completely convinced that our food is poisoning us, definitely.
Yeah.
in
So
a sense.
one of the fastest killing things that's killing us is basically our foods and the
I
foods
believe
that we
that.
consume.
I completely believe that chemicals, altering your genes, messing up, you know, causing diseases, high blood pressure, hypertension,
Right.
obesity.
Right.
And you know, I know when I eat different, you can see, and mental health problems as well.
Right. Oh wow.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Exactly.
I didn't show you my book yet.
Show me the book.
Wait,
I
real
know.
quick, real quick.
We done got deep.
Look, it's okay. In the book, the second book I did is lesson plans, and it's all the lesson plans basically I've ever come up with, all hands-on, all interactive, all the information a teacher needs to teach. I was trying to make it easy for a teacher and all the supplies they need.
Wow.
They're affordable and cheap, and everything in here is hands-on from A to Z, and it's all dealing with what they're supposed to be learning in the quality core curriculum and the national standards based off national science standards.
Oh, so it's basically a whole bunch of things that you can do in this book.
Yeah.
You know, and making it easy for the
I'm
teachers.
trying to make it extremely easy for teachers or homeschool parents, and it's on Amazon.
Oh, I was about to say, where can they find it at?
Yeah, it's
They
Amazon.
can find it on Amazon.
It's on our website, sciencecreations.com as well. But this is what the kids love, and I did it through trial and error, and to talk about health and wellness. We have
Right.
things about soap, why we recycle, things like that. Yeah,
Right,
what we talked about today.
so that's basically the cheat code, people, is right here.
yeah,
Fun and easy lesson plans,
yeah.
right for you. So new inspiring teachers that's ready to give up on the kids. No, I'm just
No,
playing. Don't
for
give up
real,
on the
for real.
kids,
Don't give
but
up on 'em.
but
Just your approach. Just try a different approach.
right, and the
You know,
approach
whatever
may
you're
be
doing.
just buying this book on Amazon, and then you get a whole bunch of new ideas. I think reaching
I hope I
out.
can get into the schools.
Right.
One of my goals is to get it into the schools.
Manifestation, it will get into the
Yes,
schools.
it will get into school system.
Yeah, and we'll be looking back at this, like, you know what?
I believe that.
The feeling
and
was
I
right.
think the teachers will be happy and the students will be happy, and they'll really be learning. And it'll be really beneficial. Hands-on.
Hands-on.
Hands-on and fun. Yeah.
All right, so before we get out of here, I got a segment on my show called, Give Me a Piece of Advice to Save My Life.
Giving you a piece of advice to
Save your life. Yeah. So, like, for, the young people,
Right.
out here that's just looking for, like, role models.
Yeah.
Or, like, just a word of inspiration.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? What is something that you can give to them?
Okay. Do what you love. When you decide on what you want to do in life, do something that you love. Not just for money, not just because status, but really something you're passionate about and that you love it, and you really will be happy no matter how much money you make off of it.
Right.
Yeah.
Do something
you
that
would,
you
you
love.
would do it for free if you could. Yeah.
Right.
And I would do this for free. If I had bills.
Wouldn't we all? If we didn't have bills,
I would love
like
to
we
do
would
this for
literally
free.
be locking in,
Yeah.
and doing
But
it
it's
for
good
free.
to get paid to do what you love. When you're getting paid doing what you love, it's a good feeling.
And I feel like that's the dream.
Yeah, it
as
is.
long
It
as you
really
can
is.
get paid to do what you love,
It
like I
really
feel
is.
like you've made it. Just and just also just waking up and trying every day,
Yep.
constantly doing the same thing until it works for you.
That's right.
I feel like that's very healthy.
Yep. Just don't give up. Yep.
Just don't
Keep
give
going.
up.
Yep.
All right, any last words before we get out of here? Last remarks?
I appreciate
Where can they find you at?
ScienceCreations.com. Everything.
Right.
If you Google us, we're #1 on Google. Science Creations with an S. Other things come up if you don't put an S. ScienceCreations.com.
And you also just not in the schools, but you do private like events as well.
Oh no, definitely.
So you can come to the birthday parties.
After school program, birthday parties, festivals, school shows, 100 kids, 500 kids.
And if you want like real live science projects, like I'm not talking about the baby. Look at Sean. I'm not talking about the baby stuff, but the real deal.
Higher level thinking.
Higher level thinking.
She'll,
Dr. Sunflower, not She'll. Dr. Sunflower will come and see. Well, Dr. Sunflower, I super appreciate you.
Thank you.
This has been a very pleasant, splendid, conversation that we're having on a beautiful day in a beautiful garden.
Yes. Faradale's Garden. That's what it tells. We're in Faradale's Garden.
Faradale's Garden.
Yeah, in Decatur, Georgia.
Yeah, in Decatur, Georgia. Decatur, where it's greater.
Muhammad schools. Yes.
Yeah, there we have it, man. Sean Teezy, the people want to know, and we are out.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.